Good evening and welcome to the August 26, 2025 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I also want to make a special welcome to this year's student member of the board, Ms. Caitlin Lee. So welcome to your first meeting. We're very happy to have you here. Okay. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. This meeting is also being broadcast live on the Abington School District YouTube channel. For those members of the public who cannot participate in this evening, this meeting is being recorded and will be available on the district's website and cable channel no later than Friday, August 29th. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Instructions for calling in to each public comment section of the meeting will be displayed on the screen during each segment. The board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation. This is a place where we hold dignity in high regard, and everyone's voices are respected and welcomed in this space. An executive session was held immediately preceding this evening's board meeting regarding assessment appeal litigation. Dr. Fetcher, do we have any additional announcements or agenda items?
Yes, Dr. Mallory. First, I would like to also welcome our student school board member for the 2025-2026 school year, Caitlin Lee. Caitlin will be a junior at Abington Senior High School this year, bringing with her strong commitment to service, leadership, and academic excellence. This year, beyond her rigorous academic schedule, Caitlin will serve as the president of the Asian Student Association. She's also an active board member of the Key Club and a dedicated member of the Red Cross Club. These roles led her to receive the Abington Award for Service last school year, signifying that she has completed over 70 hours of volunteer work in the community. Serving as a student board member is a fitting way for Caitlin to continue giving back, this time to our school community and her peers. I think she'll be an excellent student representative and a contributing voice during our meetings, and I would like to welcome you officially to the meetings.
So welcome again. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nope, you're good. And I also would like to welcome this evening Ms. Patty Denicola, who is our incoming CFO, who's here in the transition upon Mr. Lionetti's retirement. So we welcome Patty to our meeting this evening and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Also, welcome. Okay, that brings us to opening comments of board members. Mr. Allen.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Brown.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to start a new year with new things happening.
Ms. Eisenhart.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Mr. Mohammed.
Happy New Year, new school year upon us. Let's have a great one.
Okay, Ms. Spalding.
Welcome everybody, and hopefully we have a successful school year, which the students start next week.
Ms. Hartman.
Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Fraser.
Hello, welcome.
Ms. Fazy.
Welcome, everyone.
And Ms. Lee.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and it's nice to meet all of you.
Okay. I will add my welcome. This is the meeting right before our students return next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, yes? Okay. So let's get to work. Dr. Fetcher, could you please proceed with this evening's orientation?
Yes, Dr. Maury. Each year, our school teams come together to review progress, analyze student data, and reflect on our school goals. This process allows us to celebrate accomplishments, identify challenges, and set new goals with clear, actionable steps. The plans this evening, you will see, represent a commitment to continuous improvement and to ensuring that every student has the support and opportunities needed to succeed. At this time, I ask that Dr. Damon Jordan, principal of Willow Hill Elementary School, Dr. Lindsay Morgan, principal of Rydell Elementary School, Mr. Daniel File, principal of Abington Middle School, and Dr. Alice Swift, principal of Abington Senior High School, present the 2025-26 school-wide plans.
Good evening, Dr. Mowry, Dr. Fetcher, and Board of School Directors. Tonight, we are presenting the 2025-2026 school-wide plans. First, Dr. Jordan and I will share the highlights from the elementary school-wide plans. Then Mr. File will speak about the plan for the middle school, and Dr. Swift will speak about the plan for the senior high school. Tonight's presentation will review components of the school-wide plans and goals for the new school year with an emphasis on priority areas and action steps. After analyzing data from state and local assessments, several strengths and needs were identified by elementary school teams. The strengths and needs listed are data trends identified from the 2024-25 PSSA results and various measures used for student wellness and school climate, which were considerations for the 25-26 elementary school plans. On the ELA PSSA data analysis, we found increases in the number of students who were advanced in grade 5. Increases in performance were noted on text-dependent analysis questions and vocabulary. In the area of math PSSA, the overall achievement in grades 3 to 5 increased, and anchor achievement in several areas increased as well. Challenges included key ideas and details in ELA, and subgroup performance compared to the all group in both ELA and math. In the area of social, behavioral, and emotional wellness, all schools earned state recognition for fidelity of Tier 1 positive behavior interventions. We will continue to focus on the improvement of the Pennsylvania Climate Survey results through the use of social emotional learning programs like Second Step and school climate initiatives. Dr. Jordan.
After reviewing data, each building team develops goal statements that reflect areas of need. Next, teams develop action steps that will drive progress towards meeting those goals. After evaluation of last year's school plans, several action steps related to curriculum, instruction, and assessment will be ongoing this year, such as providing professional development in structured literacy, mathematics discourse and routines, and STEEL standards. Connecting observations to fidelity of program implementation, as well as opportunities for reciprocal teacher observations. Identifying opportunities for explicit vocabulary instruction across all content areas. Developing self-efficacy among students to promote exploratory learning, as well as greater active and cognitive engagement. And finally, conducting gap analysis of instruction to identify eligible content in need of additional instructional time. New for this upcoming school year, plans have dedicated time and resources for professional development focused on our new ELA program, Amplify CKLA. All schools will be using Amplify CKLA assessments for monitoring progress and growth. In addition, administrators will spend increased time in classrooms to support teachers and provide feedback for Amplify CKLA, and illustrative mathematics lessons. All schools will also implement SSR daily for 15 to 20 minutes to promote independent reading habits and engagement in literature and informational text of choice. Finally, a priority for this upcoming school year is ensuring that ELA and mathematics instructional blocks are uninterrupted to maximize student focus, time on task, and to teach content through the literacy block. Several action steps related to our MTSS framework will also be ongoing this year, such as providing opportunities for professional development on culturally responsive teaching, differentiated instruction, UDL, which promotes multiple means of representation, action, expression, and engagement, and sheltered instruction observational protocol, which is designed to ensure that English language learners acquire both academic content and the English language simultaneously. Creating intervention plans for students who receive Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention support, and ensuring that these plans have specific goals and action steps tailored to the needs of each student. Prioritizing explicit decoding, fluency, and phonics instruction for all students receiving Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention instruction. Aligning mathematics intervention instruction to student needs through diagnostic results. And finally, implementing PBIS programs with fidelity to provide students with nurturing, positive, and supporting learning environments. New for this school year, we will use a short screener tool through Amplify Boost to provide students with personalized learning opportunities. A kindergarten through grade 2 universal screener, M-Class Dibbles, will be used to assess foundational skills such as phonemic awareness and fluency. M-Class Dibbles will replace Acadience. Assessment results will be used to inform teaching and learning. Principals will establish clear protocols for the delivery of intervention instruction with an emphasis on intentional data review to monitor progress towards goals. And finally, a common theme threaded throughout all school plans is the use of restorative practices to not only decrease the number of discipline infractions and referrals, but to improve and enhance student relationships emphasized by dialogue, reflection, empathy, and accountability. Dr. Morgan.
Our school plans continue to emphasize the importance of family engagement and focus on ways that we can bring parents and guardians into our schools for community activities and to support academic programs. The goal is to work together to support students both in school and at home. Some of the ways we do this include hosting academic programs, events, and activities geared towards families, student progress meetings throughout the year, offering extended day programs in academic areas as well as extracurricular activities, and communicating frequently with parents and guardians about student progress utilizing multiple formats, including direct contact and online platforms. New for families this year, we will be sharing information about our new ELA program, Amplify CKLA, and encouraging more independent reading at home. Now, Mr. Dan File will share information about the middle school's plan.
At the middle school, we saw increases in the ELA PSSA, specifically in areas of text-dependent analysis and vocabulary anchors. Vocabulary was an area of focus for the building overall, and that will be an area that we will continue to emphasize and expand this year. In ELA, we did not see growth in achievement, which includes the subgroups. In math, achievement in grades 6 through 8 increased, as well as the percent of students who scored proficient in advanced from the Honors Algebra 1 course. Subgroup performance was lower than the all-student group. Last year, we reduced the total number of suspensions, and this relates to the alternatives to exclusion that we implemented, the use of restorative practices, and other proactive measures and supports. As the elementary schools did, Abington Middle School received recognition for fidelity of Tier 1 positive behavior interventions. We have plans in place to address the needs that emerged from the climate survey. For curriculum, last year we delivered targeted professional development on effective reading and writing strategies. We worked to build a sustained focus and a reading culture by maintaining regularly scheduled library visits and dedicating independent reading time for our students. We delivered aligned mathematical instruction that included common pacing for all math courses, incorporating daily pre-class questions focused on reinforcing key skills to prepare students for the assessments. We continued to implement PBIS with facility to help support a positive school climate. For next year, we'll be introducing a period of sustained silent reading that will take place twice a week to help foster independent reading habits and increase our students' engagement with texts. As mentioned, we're going to continue to integrate our vocabulary program across all disciplines and the building, and we're going a little bit deeper this year with content-specific information. We're launching a new health curriculum for grades 7 and 8 to provide students with relevant, age-appropriate instruction that supports physical, emotional, and social well-being. We are implementing both staff and student advisory committees, and we plan to increase communication and celebration of excellence by implementing a new honor roll recognition program. For our systems of support, you probably remember last year was the first time we used the STAR reading assessment to identify individual student needs and to help target instruction, intervention, and support. We also offered targeted skill development in our WIN, What I Need sessions in ELA and math, as well as offering enrichment opportunity during those times. We began co-teaching selected English, language arts, and math classes in grade 6, and we maintained our math coaching support for our 8th grade students who are all enrolled in Algebra 1. For next year, we're looking, well, we already have expanded our reading 6, 7, and 8 courses to increase targeted literacy support and to serve a greater number of students. We've expanded our co-teaching in ELA and math to selected 7th grade sections as well. And we are looking to continue furthering our efforts with restorative practices to, again, address our positive school climate. In terms of family engagement, we're looking to provide support to families' access and understandings of our platforms related to grades, benchmark data, and standardized assessment scores. We're going to offer workshops, continue to offer workshops to families related to topics that support instruction and students' overall well-being. New for this coming year, we are going to develop and maintain an online resource hub to provide parents and students with practical strategies to support their children. And we are also going to be increasing our communication overall to let our families know about our programs, different topics, and also those things we want to celebrate and recognize in a special way. I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Swift.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Mowry and Dr. Fetcher and the Board of Directors. Just easier for me to turn to the right and this way. So the charge is to review the information. It's a lot up here, but I do want to pull out some information. And thank you to the Office of Teaching and Learning for providing me with percentages, it's important that we note the strengths in our English data. This year, the 4% increase of students in grade 10 that were proficient and or advanced on the Keystone Literature exam. The AP English language and comp, we had a 6% increase there. And for the AP English literature and composition came up.
Dr. Swift, could you hold on one moment? Standing over there, you're not being picked up by a mic. If we want to bring, do you have a mic over here?
Move one of the floor mics.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yes, oh, that's a lot better. Okay, so we had a 12% increase there. The challenges there is what we talked about in the initial meeting speak to the demographic of students or subgroups of our African-American population, special education, and our L students. So we continue to work through those challenges. As we look at math data, the win there for our Algebra 1 Keystone, there was a 7% increase. For our students in AP Stat, 12% increase for 3 or higher on those exams. The percent of students in AP Calc, 10% increase there for students that scored a 3 or higher. Again, more challenges as we work through our subgroups. When we talk about strengths in social behavior and emotional wellness, in terms of the reduction of suspensions, I think we did very well there. We elevated student voice and will continue to do so through many committees and our partnerships with our grade levels and their administrators and their principal and their teachers, strengthening family and community partnerships, enhancing staff, and of course, their capacity in professional learning in restorative practices, making sure that 100% of our staff is aware of how to implement RP, and of course, the integrated cell curriculum. I'll just pull out some of the challenges with the cell aspect. We still want to move through how our students feel, what relationships they're building in the school, and definitely attendance and truancy concerns that we have. The priority areas, there's a lot there, but I want to pull out the importance of our teachers meeting in the professional learning communities, which will continue to be ongoing. What was big for us was the Danielson framework, where we were able to pull out domains 3A and C, because the communication with students and engaging them in their learning set that tone for that student-driven and student-centered work that was necessary in the classroom. We are going to continue to move through the alignment of our English and our centralized curriculum. Of course, recognizing student achievement at the classroom and school levels, which that happens all the time, but we're going to continue to move through that. The reading proficiency, we had excellent conversations in bringing parents in. We talk about the Lexile scores, where their children are faring as they've entered, for our success meetings this summer, which were very successful. Ongoing PD to equip our teachers with the literacy strategies to support them. Targeted math instruction, and of course, the ongoing climate and restorative culture goals. What's new for us? We started last year, we took the lead from the middle school, the word of the day. That worked very well. In fact, I found myself a lot of times shouting out classrooms and students who the teachers shared their artifacts with me, and we were able to highlight them on the morning announcements. And we're moving through, again, data-driven instruction through Get More Math to reinforce Algebra 1. UDL is not new, but we're going to continue to get grips around that, to master that. Engaging students in their literacy growth goals. Revamping our Keystone Scholar Program, where we kind of made it up to them. Parents decided they could come, but they may have taken another turn, but now they're going to be aligned with their teachers, so there's more structure there. Students have been placed in reading this year rather than opting out, because we understand the importance of that. And then using findings from our student perception tools for our Tier 1 RP priorities to identify our Tier 2 and Tier 3 target groups. But the biggest takeaway here would be the additional training on the restorative practices, monitoring that, and then the implementation efforts as we move through those intervention plans. The multi-tiered system of support, ongoing, we continue to say the same. The UDL, of course, our sheltered instruction observation protocols, STAR reading, much as what I've already highlighted. So I'm going to jump down to what's new. This year, we have put together a multi-tier Systems of Support, or MTSS committee. And for those, just the background, 85% of the universal group is Tier 1. Tier 2 speaks to the targeted group of 10% of the students, and that Tier 3 group would be about 5%. So our goal is to move everybody to universal. That's what's supposed to happen in school. And in order to guide that work, we've enlisted the support of Student Support Services and the MCIU this year because we want to go full blown year one implementation, like to get it in writing. We know what we're doing, but we want the state recognition like what the middle school is doing. Expanding the eligibility with Reading 9 and 10 courses. Again, through Lunch and Learn, providing those opportunities for our scholars. And then coming down, I want to make sure I pull out the database decision-making and our tiered instruction progress monitoring, which is critical. And then the family engagement, what is ongoing and what will continue to be would be, of course, information sharing. If parents don't know and they're not aware, what can they do? They've got a lot on their plate, and we're here to support and assist them. We want to make sure that families understand the academic risks through the formal written communication when the students' grades are not up to par. We want to make sure that we continue to capitalize on our all-school parent night, our back-to-school night, college application process, financial aid, college and career, of course, working through all of these things with the support of our partners and our PTO. Developing protocols that clearly communicate student progress through these written correspondences, and partnering with the Abington Township Public Library to provide access for library cards, the teen space, and self-care stations, and scheduling the summer success meetings. And I'm happy to report we met with over 50 families this summer. So we're putting them on track to be just as successful as all the other scholars. But the biggest takeaway new for us, again, following the lead of the elementary and middle, and thank you to Dr. Fetcher and Dr. Melkor, Dr. Butts, and of course, Teaching and Learning, we're instituting parent conferences this year. But the question is how. So the goal is, will it be student-led? Will a student be able to come in to the room, grab their artifacts, and sit down and have a conversation with their families about the work that they're doing and the challenges that they're facing, with the teacher as a guide or facilitator to help get through that. So we have not determined how that will be structured, but we're definitely going to move in that direction. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Questions or comments from the board?
There was one question I have that was mentioned with the elementary extended school. One second. Extended day programs. I just wanted to know, is that in the form of clubs, or is it a structured continuation of the school day with instruction? I just wasn't sure.
There are both opportunities offered. We do have a variety of clubs across the schools, but we do also have opportunities where it is academic focused and structured, where teachers are developing plans for small groups and individuals and delivering that. Primarily morning in some buildings, other buildings accommodate that in the afternoons.
Is that tier 1 access, tier 2, or tier 3?
All.
Excellent. Thank you.
To piggyback on that, how would parents be aware of such programming and or ask questions, access it? What would be the correct way to find out more information about that building specific?
Well, I could speak to one building for
Okay,
sure,
yeah.
but I believe my colleagues, it would be very similar. When we offer clubs, I'll say first, we do, I don't want to say advertise, but we distribute information through our regular newsletters, through the teachers' Friday folders, that kind of thing for clubs. Specific to the academic programs, typically we're identifying need, whether it is a need for remediation and support or enrichment, and we will communicate directly with families through invitation for those opportunities. It's not necessarily exclusive to invitation, but that's one way in which we make sure that families of students that we know have a need, whether it is for support or enrichment, receive the information.
Thank you.
I have a few miscellaneous questions. One, how is gap analysis identified? The young man here, elementary school, mentioned it.
Yes, it's a data analysis process by which grade level teams, for example, the grade 1 teachers can meet with the grade 2 teachers. You take a look at goals that are outlined at the very beginning of the school year, take a look at end of year goals and benchmarks as far as where students should be at the end of the grade level. And then you take a look at the eligible content that's been taught throughout the school year, use student data to analyze how students are progressing, and then once again, analyze and determine eligible content and skills that need to be retaught or should receive additional instructional time for students. So it's a kind of a professional learning community approach where grade level teams get a chance to converse with colleagues at different grade levels.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just thought perhaps it was online, like something digital, a tool in software that would determine the gap, but I understand.
Okay.
And then also, you mentioned sustained silent reading, SSR.
Yes.
Is that a daily thing?
Yes.
Or just, yeah, and then also, I think it was in middle school, they're going to be incorporating SSR twice a week. So coming off of elementary, 5 days a week with SSR, I was just curious about the twice a week in middle school.
Yes, so given the differences in schedule, we wanted to find a convenient way to keep the teaching block kind of sacred as the elementary schools are, and keep that uninterrupted. But we also have time in our workshop advisory period where we're able to infuse those minutes. This doesn't mean that won't happen with a team decision or a teacher decision, but we wanted to be sure it was at least happening during those periods of time during our school day.
Thank you.
If I may
sorry.
expand on that, this year, one of the challenges that I posed to all of our schools, especially in our elementary schools, was that on a daily basis, that at the end of the day there'd be sustained silent reading, and tie that as well to our libraries, and ensure that every student have a book that at the end of the day, in a short period of time, that they could do this across the district in every elementary school. So that's new this year. And although I would say that it's important to note that many classrooms and many teachers across the district already do sustained silent reading, but what we were trying to do as well with the secondary becomes a little trickier in terms of scheduling that, at the end of the day, because people are in, different classes. So we are attempting to do something on a weekly basis, twice a week, and then from there, see if we can expand it. But that also, I imagine that in many of the classes, as a former English teacher, sustained silent reading was part of the class and wasn't just necessarily a universal school thing. So I just wanted to take a moment to explain that, because it is new this year as a program that I've asked to be implemented.
Also, thank you. And then also, you mentioned Amplify. I know in Philadelphia, the school district purchased Amplify curriculum for science, and it's just being implemented now. And I was wondering if there was a connection between, what was it? Is it Amplify? Was it math you mentioned? I'm not sure. What
Language arts.
context? Language arts. Do you know if it's at all affiliated with a science program or unrelated? Not to your knowledge.
Amplify publishes a science program as well, so
Okay.
the publisher is Common.
Gotcha.
That's a different curriculum. We do have a science committee that reviewed that program. We haven't made a decision yet
Okay.
to make any recommendation.
Okay, thank you. And then also, for family engagement, I know many years ago, there used to be, I'm not quite sure if it's still in existence, but Family Fun Night. I'm not sure if it was once a month. Dr. Mary, you may remember as a parent, we have kids the same ages. But anyway, do you guys still have that, or anything similar where families get together and dance and just have a good time? I don't know if it was once a week, like on Fridays, or once a month.
Absolutely. I would imagine that opportunities such as you described are available at all schools. I can speak to Willow Hill in particular. Threaded throughout our PBIS program, we have a family fun night called Platinum Card Night, and it's just a fun and exciting opportunity for parents to come out with their children, teachers, specialists. We have open gym games, computer games, face painting, bracelet making. We have karaoke. So again, it's just a way to come out and celebrate the school year, have fun. And again, it's tied to our PBIS program, which encourages students to adhere to our behavioral expectations on a daily basis.
And how often is that
We do
provided?
that once per marking period.
Oh, I
But
see.
there are other opportunities, especially threaded throughout the PTO initiatives, such as school dances, Wingo Nights, which is a variation of bingo. So a multitude of opportunities to just have fun as elementary students and parents and community engagement, just to come out and celebrate the school year and working towards meeting goals and expectations, both academically, socially, and emotionally.
Yeah, thank you. And then one last question. Um, Dr. Swift, you mentioned the self-care stations in the same sentence as the library, providing library cards, et cetera. When I'm at the library, I think about a year ago, I noticed what could be considered a self-care station that provided toothbrushes, just personal items, et cetera. Is that found in the library, or is that
At the
separate?
public library?
Yes.
Yes, I believe that is, and we'll be working through that with Student Support Services. But I will say our parent-teacher organization, to chime in with Dr. Jordan, we did a lot of wasn't fun night, but those activities were incorporated in the school. From the bingo, I wrote some stuff down. We did the dances, of course, we had the suppers, which, we feed families and, things like that. But Ms. Fulton, her son graduated last year, but she was an amazing president. Our enrollment was up, and we continue to and will continue to work through those things. But in terms of what's accessible at the public library, to get more information, we can get that for you. But that's what that would look like.
Now, I was just curious who initiated it, and was it affiliated at all with the high school?
If I could lean into Dr. Rosenthal for the self-care station, but in terms of the public library,
Sure.
I mean, that's what the community does there. Nancy Summers and then Mrs. Swift, she's coming, additional librarian this year. So we working with them with that partnership to see what that looks like. And we do have self-care even in the school.
Oh,
for the
I
things
see.
that students need, personal items and things, and not just the nurse, but the principal's office, I mean, whomever, there are things that we do provide to our scholars if they need them.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Muhammad, you were next, I think. You're good? Okay. All right. Ms. Spalding?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Hartman?
I have a couple of questions and comments. I'm thrilled to see that we're implementing sustained silent reading and giving kids some choice over their reading, so thank you. And also, at the elementary level, utilizing restorative practices. Were the elementary teachers trained in restorative practices? I know at the middle school and high school level, they've done a lot of work with that. How's that going at the elementary schools?
Yes, we had a school psychologist at the elementary level that was charged with training the elementary staff last year. So it started at the very beginning of the school year with follow-up training threaded throughout last school year. And ironically, the school psychologist is Rebecca Lustig now, Rebecca Seitz, who ironically is a psychologist at Willow Hill Elementary. So she had that added to her responsibilities last year. And although it was a one-year grant, I believe, Dr. Rosenthal, for the training, however, we will continue follow-up training throughout this school year, especially with teachers who are new to the school district.
Okay, thank you. I saw vocabulary acquisition on the elementary and the middle school. Vocabulary acquisition increased. How was that measured?
That's measured through our informal assessments as well as our benchmark assessments, as well as the assessments outlined in the new reading program, Amplify CKLA. So there is a new assessment called Amplify Boost, and we will use that to, there's a short screener that we use to gather information on students as far as their strengths and areas of concern, and we can use that to personalize instructional opportunities for students. And if vocabulary is flagged as a need for any one particular student or groups of students, then again, we can tailor that personalized reading instruction through amplified through CKLA, but also core instruction delivered by not only homeroom teachers, but reading specialists as well.
Thank you. And then at the middle, oh, go ahead.
I'll add to that. I think the reference was from the slide in terms of our data analysis.
Yes.
And so vocabulary acquisition was an area that was identified as one of need from the PSSA.
Okay.
And then Dr. Jordan's answered how we'll address it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I was going to say the PSSA for us, that
PSSA.
was, that was an area that we needed to focus on from a couple of years ago. So we've carried that through.
Okay. And just one more thing. Mr. File, you, on slide 9, there was a bullet. I just would love for you to tell me a little bit more about that. It's the third bullet under new for the 2025-2026 school year, developing and implementing standardized protocols to ensure consistent delivery of academic and behavioral interventions. How are you going to, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, and that's through a lot of what we know and something new to us. So through MTSS, we have a data tracker that includes behavior to help us with an early warning system. So color code it, and as a student has office referrals, they'll go from green to yellow to red. So we try to be proactive and catch that through the process. We store all of our information in Skyward, and we do an analysis of the where, the when, the who, to try to, again, be proactive there. And then we are also getting, and I'm going to need help from Dr. Rosenthal, we are also getting this year a system called Swiss that I know a little bit about, but that's also going to help us with tracking and then placing interventions in place. I don't know if you could share any more specific information there.
Yeah, no, that was great. Swiss is just a user-friendly way to analyze data. It's data that's downloaded directly from our SIS Skyward, so that leaders at the building level can have more immediate access to that data and be able to analyze it by disaggregating the data and being able to then, develop goals for kids and develop progress monitoring for kids.
And another important piece of what we have done and continue to do is have lessons that are taught by the teachers related to these topics. So we're talking about social emotional learning, we're talking about school rules, we're talking about just be nice and respectful. So they're all different topics, but we have them laid out by semester, which the teachers deliver in addition to the restorative work that we ask them to do as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Ms. Fazy?
Okay, so I don't have any questions, but I will make a few comments, and I appreciate the sustained reading. Definitely, I think that that's wonderful across the grades. I'm really, really happy about that, especially I see in the elementary implementation 15 to 20 minutes at a time, which I think is wonderful. I also appreciate with the elementary ensuring that the ELA and the math blocks are uninterrupted. And I think that that is an important and an intentional move to make with students of that age. And then lastly, I'll say that I really, really appreciate and look forward to the high school implementing scheduled days for the parent-teacher conferences. As somebody that's worked in a high school, I know that family involvement can sometimes kind of fall off as our students become more independent. However, it's really important to go ahead and be intentional about bringing those families in and having them be a part of it. So thank you.
Ms. Lee?
I just want to talk about the student-parent or conferences as well. From a student perspective, I think the conferences are a good idea. I think having a teacher there as a moderator could help the teachers the students talk to their parents about things that they couldn't talk about in private, and it also helps let the students take initiative and reflect on their performance. So I think that's a good idea.
Thank you. We'll just add my thanks to including the sustained silent reading, particularly in the grade school. And I assume we're going to get a chance to do a deeper dive into the achievement data later this fall.
Yes.
Okay. So I also want to thank you all for being proactive and very responsive to the data. Those ELA scores are a tough nut to crack. But they're you don't need me to tell you how critical they are to all of our students. I guess the one question I had isn't necessarily related to the steps you're implementing, but I did wonder how consistently the no phones policy is enforced in the schools. There's a lot of data now about the way in which reading on phones and reading digitally is actually corroding students' ability to understand what they're reading and to read for more extensive periods of time. So I'm just, if you have anything you want to share on that, I'm curious.
At least at the high school, last year, after we read The Anxious Generation, we went for full implementation of no phones in instructional platforms. There wasn't much data that was around that in terms of discipline, like insubordinate about it. There may have been some angst to go to the restroom to pull the phone, that type thing. But in terms of the expectations, setting that starts with the leadership to our faculty, which we'll have that opportunity tomorrow afternoon to reiterate that and set those expectations for our new, we're excited about our new teachers coming through. The welcome back letter went home. That information was communicated there. The opt-out policy for that, because we do recognize medical students with 504s and IEPs and those accommodations that may be necessary. And parents, we have a couple students that may be parents in high school and may need that, just as an example. But overall, it's going to take, again, the school village, if you will,
Yep.
That on instruction or during instructional time to honor the teacher's voice and their role in educating them first in the classroom, that the administration has to support that we reiterate this through our town hall meetings. As we see them move about to go to class and teachers are at their door and they're excited to receive them. The announcements in the morning and the afternoon that we do provide, the newsletters that we provide. There are multi-platforms that this can be placed on, and was a spin from last year. Nothing will change there. It's just a reiteration of it, but sticking to it and making sure that the buy-in is there. Because what may be good in your room, I may come in a room and see another teacher. Now, we talk about our informal walkthroughs. That's when we see those things. So we're not just looking at the instructional delivery, we're looking at the climate, our domain 2, what's happening in there, and then what recommendations can we provide that teacher informally to correct that before it gets out of hand and it becomes exactly what you just asked.
Right.
So thank you.
Right, sure, thank you.
May I add?
Please.
So just 2 items in addition, and the parents on the board might be able to help me, but I think it was in the last newsletter. If not, it's in the next one that's going out, is a parent message to remind our families, because we have new 6th grade families, and we want to reinforce with the returning parents that this is still on. Cell phones aren't needed. And then the other piece, which is slightly different but related, and I think very important, is that one of our pushes in a lot of the conversations we're having about reading, because we're trying to get reading happening everywhere all the time, is off of the device. So when we can do that. And I know for teachers at times it may not be the most convenient thing, but we are pushing for that. And as someone who does like a real book in their hand, I can completely relate to the kids who feel the same way. So that's another push where we're trying to say there's a place for the technology, but we need kids to read something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, reading a hard copy, as you know, is a vastly different experience. You can't scroll through a book. You can flip pages, but you can't scroll through it. It also, Dr. Fetcher might panic when he hears me say this, but I encourage my students to write in books because it makes it a much more interactive in students for the, I'm sorry.
There's post-it notes we can put on.
Okay, I mean, sure, but It just
Mary,
makes it more
could I jump there
interactive,
where you just
please.
said that the Cornell note-taking?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be in the book, but it could be the post-it, or we provide the Cornell note document that they put supplemental into the text there, but not on the district books. Or the-
I knew that was going to get some pushback.
So we could,
It just makes it more interactive.
I understand.
But okay, well, I'm glad to hear that the phone policy is being enforced. And then I had one final question. For a few years now, we've been hearing about the WIN process, right? What I need, and it doesn't seem to have moved the needle much in terms of our achievement scores. And so this is maybe too direct a question, but I'm going to ask it anyways, does it work?
So for us, and I don't have the data in front of me, but we have seen results with that algebra class, and that's the one where we've maintained that coach position. So it has been with the one grade, with that one course. We are looking at shifting the model this year with reading, because of exactly what you said. We need to, if we're going to do it, we want to know that there's a reason behind it and we're getting something out of it. So it's valuable time, but we're trying to have reading teachers intervening more, especially with those kids who need it as the specialists, and then have the classroom teacher push that enrichment or reteaching as well. So we do have a little, I'm not sure how elementary is working, but we're having a little bit of a different take on it this year to try something new.
Okay, all right, thank you for that clarification.
Yes, and we are experiencing some success, and it's important to remember that it's for both English language arts as well as mathematics. And just based on the 2025 PSSA results, we did notice improvement with regard to PSSAs. Of course, that's just one measure, but I would say yes, that it's working. Is there progress and improvement to be made? Absolutely, but we're working toward that end.
Okay, all right.
And Dr. Mary, per your question, I'm looking, it just jumped right here. We talk about the activities that are offered. MTSS is not just about climate, it's the academic side, right? So making it all inclusive, exciting and fun and rewarding. So that keyword competition stepping out and up, but not at a level where you're making a student feel less than because they weren't able to get to where somebody else did. But just building on these areas here, but making it more of a social emotional experience coupled with the academic component. I think that's where you'll get it, and that relationship building. But climates have to be calm enough to step in here. And I'm talking about in those subgroups or the demographics where the challenges that you just mentioned that we are having because all the other children are doing the universal what they're supposed to do. It's bringing the other ones up to that level as well.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay.
Dr. Mowry, may I add one thing?
Please.
Thank you. Just because it hasn't come up, but it's kind of hinted around regarding subgroups and a lot of emphasis on the additional reading time, silent reading time. Just to note that, you know, folks or children in those subgroups or special ed or secondary English learners, whatever you may have, or folks that just might not be at the same level with reading. Academically, the capabilities change, right, developmentally. I'm interested in knowing what that's going to look for them that time. And I know there's an emphasis, you know, away from digitalized reading, and I understand that, but I also see an accessibility, you know, someone who's not at reading level, what does that time look like to them to hold up a book in comparison to their classmates that can, and that's very accessible to them. So I don't know if anyone wants to speak to that what would that look like for those learners that aren't quite at that level of reading a novel or book or chapter book or can't access it? What kind of silent reading, what does it look like?
Well, I can't speak to silent reading. I want to speak to it just period. I think you meet children where they are. I think you provide access, which we do. I mean, that shouldn't be. And then the accommodations that students need. If we're talking about students with special education needs or 504, chunking work, giving them, we're going to have co-taught classes. So there may not be, they may not be able to do what all the students do, but celebrating the win and empowering that student, not putting them out on the spot. It's more about the relationship first. So if you get something that they're able to do, then we compound that with something else. In terms of what something looks like, I think it was important to at least acknowledge those success meetings, or how we were able at the high school to leverage some of the discipline to move away from that and say, hey, let's talk about these Lexile scores. Then the parent's attention is up. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like? So you begin to provide that data to the parent and talk about the long-term impact of graduation, post-secondary opportunities. And I know we're at the end of the race, if you will, but we then still have to push them out to where we would hope them to be, right? And so my colleagues behind me can speak maybe to more what happens when they come through the doors. But the student and the parent engagement is the most critical aspect in this. It's not in isolation of who's reading, who's not, who can't do math, but what is that going to do because you can't or you believe you can't? And then for us, do we take that and continue to mentally isolate them in that student group or subgroup, or do we say, you can do this too? But how we get you there is a little different. And that's where those wraparound supports come in, and the expectations of that the belief is there that they can do it. And then we foster all these things that are documented here on these slides. So at the baseline.
I would also add to that, I think that the opportunity for sustained silent reading, which is really around choice, where students can read whatever they want. So we're not asking them to necessarily have the biggest novel in the room if they want to, but to really pick something that they like and enjoy, and having materials at all levels that will that'll interest a variety of students available. So I don't think it's meant to be an intimidating time. I think that if we have a variety of materials, all different levels, that's often a time where we can develop a love of reading and catch students and find that they come across something that they really like and read more and read past difficulties. I think the question about when as well, when we look at growth, I think we're able to see a lot of gains. So in looking at benchmark data, curriculum-based assessment, we're able to see assessments, we're able to see where students are growing from where they're starting. And I think that that's as a result of win time and giving students what they need.
Just to add about English learners, since you mentioned, when we had a conversation with the administrative team, I spoke to the supervisor, and I don't know if it's K-12, but I know our students are receiving books. There was a grant and there were books. So I said, I want a book in all of their hands, something that is realistic and readable and interesting. And I know our building has that coming. I'm not sure about the other schools, but that was important to me because we very often do talk about our English learners and how we can support them in whatever it is that we're doing. So I feel good knowing that we have that for them.
Can I ask just one quick follow-up question?
Go ahead.
I know that at the elementary level, they have library time built into their day or week so that they can choose books that they want to read. How about at the middle school? Will they have access to the library? Because the typical middle schoolers might not be walking around with a book for enjoyment in their back.
We do. They,
Okay.
they do have regularly scheduled visits. However, with SSR being new and we haven't really talked to the teachers a whole lot about it yet. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. We're brainstorming ways to make sure that we have resources and we have ideas already, but we want to have choice present and opportunities present, but the kids do go with classes to the library.
So I just want to make one final remark, and then we'll let you patient folks sit down. I am incredibly grateful for the energy that you all brought to this presentation. I you're practically like elbowing each other out of the way to answer the questions. And that's a great reflection of the focus and the intentionality that you all are bringing to this. And so, as a member of the school board, I'm really grateful for that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Maurer, and the Board of Directors. Thank you, Dr. Fetcher. Thank you.
All right. Does that, I have to make sure I'm on the right page.
We have no further orientations this evening.
Okay, thank you for anticipating the question I was about to ask you. All right, that brings us to our first section of comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comments is 267-715-3717 and is being displayed on the screen at this time. You'll be able to join the meeting by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. A citizen will be recognized once during this period of the meeting, and each citizen's comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes, except at the discretion of the president. Time may not be yielded or otherwise transferred by one speaker to another for purposes of extending a given speaker's time allotment. If there's anyone present in the room who'd like to make a comment, please use the microphone either to your left or to your right. Go ahead.
Jen Pertel, I live in Glenside. Well, first of all, I hope everybody had a great summer. All that information was amazing. I came a little late, so I didn't see all of it, but it looked impressive. The one thing I wanted to mention is there was a question about the personal care section at the public library. That is run by the young adult librarian, Sarah Huff. She's amazing. And I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe that it is supplied by generous donations from the community. So it's a great, like, pay it forward effort being made by everybody and is put to great use. So if that's something that they're going to be implementing or have implemented at the libraries, the schools, I think that's wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you for your voice. Mr. Cargis, looks like we have one caller.
Next caller for public comment, 7682. Please state your name.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, thank you. We
Thank
can end the call. Okay. And there's no one else on the line?
Correct. There's no other callers on the
Okay.
line.
Anyone else in the room who would like to make a comment? Okay. With that, we will move on to our agenda items. The first one is personnel. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation to approve the personnel addendum?
Yes, that's 4-1, correct?
5.
5. Excuse me. Oh, yes, thank you. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in personnel addendum numbers 5-1 and 5-1A.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. The personnel addendum begins with the change of status for one administrative staff member, request for leaves of absence for 3 professional employees, rehire of 2 current long-term substitutes for the 2025-26 school year, appointment of 6 professional employees, change of status for 1 professional staff member, and compensation for due process and support auxiliary staff items. Unfortunately, tonight, I bring your attention to the retirement of Dr. Tony Butts, who has served the district as Director of Teaching and Learning since 2018. Dr. Butts has contributed significantly to the instructional strategies across the district, as well as increasing the use of data analysis to inform practice. I thank Dr. Butts for her consistent support as a member of my cabinet, and I wish her well in her retirement as she reflects on a career that has impacted thousands of students. I also bring your attention to the retirement of Miss Sarah Davis, aide at Willow Hill Elementary School, who has served the district for 6 years.
Thank you. Comments and questions from the board?
Dr. Butts,
When I opened up Board Docs and I saw that, I took a breath. You have been, as Dr. Fetcher said, you've been very consistent, always reliable, just full of knowledge about our curriculum and what are best practices for teachers and things of that knowledge. And when I look at you, I'm like, oh, I can learn from her. So I just want to just show my appreciation for all that you do to stay abreast of everything that's happening and keeping the board informed as well as the staff and community informed. So just thank you so much. And I wish that your next chapter will be your best chapter.
Ditto.
Same here. Congratulations, Dr. Butts.
Ms. Lee? No? Okay. I will add my congratulations and thank you for stewarding the district through some tough times, especially during the COVID years. And also for being the point person on federal funding. That's become an increasingly complicated and vexed feature of public school life. So I will add my congratulations to everyone else's and wish you a joyous retirement. I hope the next chapter is grand. Thank you for your service to the district. Okay, anything else? Okay, Mrs. Flanagan, please.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Frazier, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the financial report?
Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the financial report for the period ending June 30th, 2025, as reflected in addendum number 6.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. I would like to ask Mr. Lionetti to summarize the June 2025 financial report.
Thank you, Dr. Fetcher. For the period ending June 30, 2025, real estate tax collections were ahead $6.6 million when compared to the same time period in 2024. Year-to-date, total revenue is $10.8 million ahead of last year at $190.5 million. As of June 2024, the district had only collected $179.7 million. The difference is due to the 5.3% Act 1 index enacted, the real estate tax increases, as well as greater receipts of earned income taxes, delinquent taxes, interest earnings, and increased state payments for basic education, special education, and transportation subsidies. Year-to-date, expenditures were $191.9 million, which is $7.9 million greater than the same time period last year, where we had collected expended $184.5 million. In terms of percent of budget, 92.4% of the budget was expended this year we just concluded. Last year, through 2024, 97.2% of the budget was expended. The business office is working to close out the 24-25 school year in anticipation of our auditors coming in shortly this fall, and that we'll share with the board the auditors' results when they've completed their work. Dr. Fetcher, I have nothing else to add, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Lionetti.
So just to clarify, the state payments that you're referring to are from last budget year because the state currently does not have a budget, and so we have not received any payments for 25-26. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions or comments? No? Okay. Mrs. Flanagan, if you would, please.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the payment of bills?
Yes. Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the payment of bills for the period ending June 30th, 2025 and July 31st, 2025 as reflected in addendums number 7.1 and 7.1A.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
I can answer any questions that you have regarding the payment of bills.
Questions from the board? Okay, we'll move on to the roll call vote then.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for permits for use of buildings and grounds?
Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in addendum number 8.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. The permit addendum reflects typical requests for buildings and grounds for meetings and other school events and activities for this time of year.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board?
Just an ongoing thank you to the staff members and community members who create spaces for students to bond and have a love for things that's beyond the classroom, but really does build community.
Absolutely. Anyone else? It's sort of remarkable that the school year has not yet started and we are already booking into 2026. So this looks like it's going to be an energetic and robust school year. All right, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the awards of contracts as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. Tonight, for your consideration, we have one award of contract and two contract change orders. The award is for a replacement server. This is for our security camera system of media storage, and that will come from the 25-26 general fund budget. Our change order is for a data backup solution, and this is within a contract of that data backup solution, and we need more terabytes. And then the other change order is within the food service kitchen equipment and serving lines at Abington Middle School, McKinley, and Willow Hill Elementary Schools, and this is paid for by the district's food service fund.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board?
Will that equipment be equipment that we can use in the future? Like, with what's the longevity of the life of the equipment?
So the service equipment, I believe, is it's permanent service equipment in the lines. Dr. Melkor, is that correct?
Yes, what's occurring at the middle school is a little bit different from McKinley and Willow Hill. So McKinley and Willow Hill is like for like replacement equipment for the serving lines. At the middle school, it's fewer pieces of equipment that will be mobile, so they could be used throughout the district in the next few years. The middle school project gets underway and the new building is completed. If the particular equipment is not needed for the new middle school, it can be used elsewhere within the district.
And thank you for understanding the purpose of my question. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? I have a quick question about the data backup. What kind of data are we backing up with the Chester County IU?
Mr. Kargas, do you want to?
Yes, absolutely. It's all the local data that's stored on site that gets backed up to the cloud.
Okay, so student records, employee records, et cetera,
Everything, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that clarification. All right, Mrs. Flanagan, could you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for the approval of the board policy?
Yes, let's see here. It was recommended that the Board of School Directors approves in one reading revisions to the board policy entitled Instruction for English Learners as reflected in addendum number 10-1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher?
Dr. Mowry, yes. Annually, there's a review of board policies and superintendent's administrative procedures, which occurs under the direction of the assistant superintendent in conjunction with feedback from our solicitor's office. Tonight, we'll just go over all of them at one time. 10 policies are being presented to you.
So you're doing 10 and 11 together?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. One policy has non-substantive changes and will be publicly reviewed and then updated. 2 policies are recommended for repeal. 5 policies are being presented with significant amendments and will require 2 readings prior to the recommended approval, which would be to occur at the September 9th board meeting. And 2 policies are being recommended as addition to the district policy manual with recommended approval to occur at the September 9th board meeting.
Okay.
So if I may, in terms of point of order, I would like to have Dr. Melchor review these policies, but we're at 10.1 and 11.
He can give the presentation regarding all policies during 10.1, and then you can vote separately on
Okay.
10.1, then he doesn't have
Then
to.
we'll go on to
Correct. You're gonna have-
11
you're gonna
and
have-
12.
Essentially, you'll have the
Okay.
entire discussion phase now, although board members can ask additional questions when 11.1 is moved. but
Okay.
You'll have the orientation in effect now.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Dr. Melchor?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fetcher. As Dr. Fetcher mentioned, for instruction for English learners, you can see on the screen that there are some minor revisions to increase clarity of the policy with respect to what information is contained within the corresponding SAP. So you see that there's a little bit more detail with regard to the assessment procedures that occur, as well as communication and procedures that are in place within the SAP for English learners who may be thought to be or are eligible for special education services. So few changes, minor changes, which is why this is recommended for one reading, approval after one reading. With regard to number 11 and first reading, there are 2 policies that are recommended that are new. The first policy outlines when a school district must file educator misconduct report with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. This is a recommended new policy that spells out the reasons why and procedure for notifying the Department of Education of potential educator misconduct. Tobacco and vaping products is a new policy that would replace the current expectations of no smoking that are found within a SAP for discipline of all employees. This new policy is recommended to replace the current SAP. It's more expansive than the current SAP and also provides clear guidelines and expectations for employees prohibiting the use of tobacco products on school grounds. So again, a new recommended policy. Discipline all employees is a recommended revision to the current policy titled Conduct Disciplinary Procedures. In the case of these recommended revisions, you can see that there is more specificity, more detail, more clear expectations with respect to workplace conduct and expected behavior by employees within the school district. For this policy, we are recommending that the current policy, harassment by and of district employees, be revised to be a policy regarding unlawful harassment. Again, in this case, this policy sets forth a clear reporting structure and investigatory timeline. Just scroll down to the new section. With regard to procedures, what the definitions are for unlawful harassment and what the expectations are for the compliance officer, which in this case is the superintendent or the director of HR, to investigate the suspected unlawful harassment. Outside employment and outside business interests is a current policy that is recommended for revision to be retitled outside activities. In this case, the revised policy again establishes expectations and parameters for the district to act when non-school activities directly impact upon an employee's effectiveness in performing their job duties. So this policy affords the board with the opportunity to evaluate the effectiveness of those activities on the individual's ability to complete their responsibilities and their assignment within the district. Current policy, sick leave central staff employees, is being recommended to be revised to be a policy just specifically about sick leave for all employees in the district. So this policy, in being a policy regarding all employees, establishes standard expectations for submission of medical certification by employees, as well as establishing guidelines with regard to potential misuse of sick leave and the impact of that as a serious infraction and potentially involving discipline of the employee. And finally, within Section 11, non-discrimination, all employees, is being recommended to be revised and retitled as discrimination, Title IX, sexual harassment affecting staff. And again, similarly to the unlawful harassment recommended revision, this policy sets forth more clear reporting structures and investigation timelines related to potential Title IX issues and reports. The final two policies under Section 12 are policies that are recommended for repeal. The first one, personal days, central staff professional employees, is recommended for repeal because procedures for personal leave for members of central staff are the same as those for members of other bargaining units. So since central staff employees follow those other bargaining unit agreements, there is not a need for this policy to be maintained. And finally, personnel records transmittal. Just heard with the awards of contract, Mr. Cargus's explanation of records that are retained and backed up. This policy and the corresponding SAP provided an explanation on how hard copy records would be transmitted or transferred between school buildings when employees transfer from one building to another. In an era of digital evaluations and observations and employee records, there is no longer a need for this policy to be in place. That concludes the summary of the 10 policies before you this evening.
Mr. O'Donoghue, my understanding of what you said earlier is that we would have discussion first on item 10.
You can have all the discussion now.
Oh, and we just vote on everything at once?
Well, no, you only have a motion for 10.
Okay.
One right now. So
Okay.
You would need to have separate
votes
for the
on
other-
each one.
Well, you can do all the policies at the same time unless.
Each agenda item, yes.
10.1, 11.1, 12.1
Correct.
is 3 separate votes essentially.
Okay.
But you could have the discussion about all everything that Dr. Melcourt just presented current at this time.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Fetcher, did I cut someone off?
No, I'm just asking Dr. Melkor if you could verify something. We had a clerical issue this afternoon, and okay. We will make sure that in 11.4, we had a clerical issue going from an old policy to a new policy. And it was my understanding that was corrected before this evening, but we will make sure that that is corrected so it reflects the same as we do the second reading. So we'll present it to you as a second reading.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I understand you correctly.
Sure.
The text was not in fact corrected for this evening's meeting, but will be corrected for the second reading.
Yes. Yes. I was under the impression that it was corrected for this evening, and apparently it is not within the board docs.
Okay. Okay. Questions or comments on any of the array of policies?
Dr. Fetcher, I have a question about policies being communicated to staff, particularly the policies that govern and give parameters for appropriate relationships with students. Can you just speak a bit about how those policies are reviewed and revisited throughout the course of the year?
Yes, so at the beginning of the year, there are set standards of policies that are reviewed in across the district. In our opening meetings with our faculty, our principals go over and review specific policies to which, like you are referring. We also have, if there are any updates throughout the year, ensure that through professional development, there is time to do that. There is also a requirement to familiarize with all of the SAPs as well. So it's the policies and SAPs, and they're summarized within our presentations and our professional development from the start of the year. And as I mentioned, if there are any changes throughout the year.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. For 11.1, policy 11.1, educator misconduct, now based on the policy, if there's any inappropriate behaviors, you said the state is contacted, I think it is. I think you said that. And so does that suggest that prior to this policy, the state was not contacted in the event of misconduct on part of the educator?
No, that's incorrect. This policy just is, that is part of school code and part of the direction that we must do for every incident is to do the misconduct forms for this. However, what we wanted to do is codify that within a policy for the district to ensure that it was clear that this was the expectation for everyone who would possibly face this.
And then also 11.5, outside employment and business interests. Could you give me an example of that? And I'm wondering, does it involve a conflict? Is it assumed that there's a conflict of interest in general or for something specific related to a business interest?
Dr. Melkor or Ms. Taylor, can you speak to that, the outside business interest?
The accompanying SAP has a great number of examples. We will likely refine the SAP if this policy is adopted, but a good example of businesses would be like private tutoring companies or coaches that run clinics, those types of things. Expanding it to be outside activities allows us to make sure that staff can be cognizant that sometimes things that they do outside of work can impact their effectiveness within the classroom. So the previous policy spoke only to business interests and didn't speak to that other piece. So the intention is to encompass both.
So if a teacher worked, for example, after school hours from 8 p.m. to 2 in the morning, could that be a hindrance or could they be reprimanded for such a thing?
I think we would have to look at the SAP to make sure that the SAP isn't being violated.
Oh, I see.
The intention of the policy is to say that you can't use your employment here for personal gain.
Oh.
So like solicitation of clients
I
for that
see.
outside business. The first sentence of the policy talks about we respect the right of staff to have an outside life, but it's just within certain parameters that are still ethical here.
Thank you.
I can give an example. Often, some teachers may run a camp, and if they're running the camp outside of the school district, they cannot give information about that camp out during their classes or during their school day.
Right. And then also of the policies that were named here, the staff, do they sign off on anything, like any type of document or contract?
During our professional development tracker, all the topics that our staff receives are documented and when they have completed the activity.
They do sign off. on
So
these?
it's a.
Okay.
Can you explain the sign-off process? It's not a manual signature anymore, but.
Yes, they sign off on a checklist and they submit it to their principals.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyone else? I just have a quick question. I'm sure the answer is yes, but just for the sake of public discussion, I assume all of these policies are consistent with relevant collective bargaining agreements? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, we will proceed to the vote on 10 on 10. Please, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. And so then we proceed to read the recommended action for item 11. Mr. O'Donoghue? Okay. So Ms. Fraser, could you read the second recommended action for item 11?
Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the first reading of the revised board policies as reflected in addendum numbers 11.1, 11.2, 11.3, 11.4, 11.5, 11.6, and 11.7.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
As you have seen, we can answer any further questions that you may have regarding the policies.
Thank you. Anyone have any further questions? No? Okay, we'll proceed to the vote then. Thank you, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it. The motion passes. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for the repeal of 2 board policies?
Yes. Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the repeal of the board policy entitled Personal Days, Central Staff Professional Employees as reflected in addendum number 12.1, and that the Board of School Directors approves the repeal of the board policy entitled Personnel Records Transmittal as reflected in addendum number 12.2.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So this is a policy for repeal, as we reviewed during the presentation. So if we can answer any more questions that you may have regarding
Okay.
that.
Further questions or comments? No? Okay.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, while we are considering policies and thinking ahead to the middle school project, does the district have a responsible contractor policy?
No, we do not.
Okay. Unless there are objections from my colleagues, I would like to ask that, that the district draft a responsible contractor policy for consideration and first reading at the next meeting.
Okay, we'll have that prepared and we'll work with our solicitor's office on that as well.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you very much. That brings us to agenda item 13, school-wide plans. Ms. Fraser, can you please read the recommendation for the school-wide plans?
Yes, it is in accordance with the recommendation, with the requirements, excuse me, of the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the 2025-2026 Title I school-wide plans as attached, as well as future amendments for high school, Overlook School, Roslyn School, and Willow Hill School, and authorize the superintendent or designee to submit such plans to the Pennsylvania Department of Education in the manner prescribed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. Tonight, we saw all of our school plans, and we've posted all of our school-wide plans. We're required by Pennsylvania Department of Education to specifically act on the Title I plans. So this item is to, in reference to the plans for Highland, Overlook, Roslyn, and Willow Hill.
Okay. Could you just define for people who are watching and remind us what Title I covers?
Sure. I'm going to actually turn that over to Dr. Viola.
So Title I funds from federal programs are used to support students who have needs specific to socioeconomic income. We do an annual review of the district school's enrollment and the number of students who qualify for free and reduced lunches. And that's how we determine which schools will become Title I schools for our district. These schools have populations that exceed the district total.
Okay. Thank you very much for that explanation. Okay. Other questions or comments?
I just want to applaud the principals and the teams that worked on these. I believe it's 3 out of the 4 address the achievement gap that we were discussing in the plans, which I love that that is included in there, because we note that as a concern that we've seen recurring over time, and that we're addressing it in our Title I school plan. So thank you.
Just one follow-up question, Dr. Fetcher, that I recall from, I believe, last year that the number for district-wide for qualifying is 17%. Is anyone else remembering that? So it has to be more than 17% within the, for the building to qualify for Title I. Thank you, Dr. Viola.
We're just verifying that.
Yes. I'm making note of that because there was a large increase in the past year, and I'm recalling that as we're reviewing it in the moment.
It does fluctuate from year to year, so she's just making sure she has this year's
Yeah.
for you.
I apologize if I put you on the spot with that. It is the beginning of the year too, so.
If I could just intervene, we will get that data for you. What Title I is always based on is the previous year's October 1st data collection that the state pulls from each of the LEAs, all of the school districts. And Title I is based off of any school in the district that exceeds the district's average free and reduced lunch participation. So that fluctuates from every year, and we're just verifying that number. But that's how these 4 schools were identified at the elementary level.
And that data is self-reported or family reported, correct, annually?
Yes, so, and Dr. Rosenthal can verify this for me, but each family can elect to participate if they meet the requirements for their income level. And that is a process that Dr. Rosenthal oversees. We make sure that we have that available to anyone who needs it. He can go into detail about that process, but it is very important to us that all of our families who are eligible for free and reduced lunch get that. It also helps us as a district because there are many things that are linked to that particular number that help us with getting things like grants, that help us with federal programs, Title I. And it is also something that we just care about because we want kids to have food.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Lionetti, do I recall that correctly that maybe last year you looked at the numbers for free and reduced student lunch participation across the district, and it was around 37, 38% of our total student population?
I believe that's the right range. And
Okay.
in particular, the participation in Abington for free and reduced lunches went up as it did across the Commonwealth, because the federal standards in terms of how many standard deviations away from the poverty level had increased. So the feds cast a wider net, and we got greater participation. And while it doesn't necessarily answer the question regarding the percentage, because it's a percentage of our own data,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily skew the title program information any differently because of that increased participation.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And the percentage is 31%.
Okay. Is the threshold to become a Title I school?
No, is the percentage of students in our district who are considered low income.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes, so the schools that exceed that become Title I.
Okay.
Excuse me, would that 31% consist of the 4 schools that were mentioned that received free and reduced lunches?
That's the district-wide count. So that's the total district percentage.
Yeah, I got that. Okay.
And that was as of last year, right? October 1st last
October
year.
1 last year.
Okay. So we'll get a new number October 1 this year.
This year, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And the schools that aren't considered Title I schools still get Title I funding? No, not at all?
No. Our methodology here for the district is to provide the funds to the schools who exceed that total. And we look for trends year over year before determining whether or not we should change which schools qualify.
And is that a school district decision? Is that a statewide decision?
There's different methodologies that you can apply to determine Title I.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
I just wanted to second Ms. Hartman. After reading over the plans, the intentionality, and the intentional data review, if I steal the words, and the MTSS process to make sure that we have measurable goals to make sure that our students are showing progress. I really do appreciate the efforts that are outlined in the documents.
Anyone else? No? Okay. With that, we'll go to the vote, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Fraser, could you please read the recommended action for agenda item number 14?
Yes, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the confidential student matter as reflected in addendum number 14.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. Confidential student matter is in regard to the placement of students. Keeping in mind confidentiality of student matters, I can answer any questions that you may have.
Questions or comments from the board? Okay, we'll go to the vote, please.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, are there any additional reports or recommendations by the administration and superintendent?
I have nothing further to report at this time.
Okay. Any other business that appropriately may be brought to the attention of the Board of School Directors? All right, that brings us to our final segment of comments from citizens. So once again, comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comments is 267, excuse me, 715-3717, and is being displayed on the screen at this time. You'll be able to join the meeting by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. A citizen will be recognized once during this period of the meeting, and each citizen's comments will be limited to 3 minutes, except at the discretion of the president. Time may not be yielded or otherwise transferred by one speaker to another for purposes of extending a given speaker's time allotment. If there's anyone present who would like to make a comment, please use the microphone either to the left or to your right. Okay, Mr. Kargas, has anyone phoned in to be recognized for public comment? All right.
There are no more callers.
Thank you. You want to give him another minute? Okay. We'll give him another 30 seconds. Okay, we're good? Okay. Is there anyone on the?
There are no more callers.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we'll move to closing comments of school directors. Mr. Allen.
Thank you to everyone who presented this evening. Very detailed and thorough. Thank you.
Ms. Brown.
Students and staff, enjoy your final week off, or students, enjoy your final week off and get back to those good sleeping habits so that we can have a very great first day of school.
Ms. Eisenhart.
Yes, just want to reiterate my thanks to everybody who presented this evening, and I'm looking forward to witnessing another great school year.
Go ahead, Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you very much for your presentation tonight. Good luck with your professional development presentations over the next few days with your teachers. Happy New Year. Welcome back. And it's going to be a great year, everyone.
Okay, Ms. Spalding.
You're never really off. I know you always got something to do. Anyway, hopefully we have a good school year. Good night, everybody.
Ms. Hartman.
Good luck, everyone, in the next coming days, and best wishes for a great school year.
Ms. Fraser.
If anyone's interested in woodworking, I have plenty of magazines in good condition.
Ms. Vacy.
I want to thank everyone again for all their planning and preparing for this next school year and all your intention with doing so. Thank you, everyone. Have a great school year. Take care.
Ms. Lee.
Thank you, everyone, for presenting, and thank you for having me here, too.
Okay. Do you want to say something first?
I figured the president wanted to end the meeting. So
Sure.
I just wanted to.
Sure.
Just wanted to say that I'm excited to the staff who's watching. Tomorrow we welcome back our full staff, and I know they're excited for the convocation. I'm excited. I know they're excited. I'm sure every 1,200 staff members are watching this right now. So I just wanted to say I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be great. Great way to start the school year.
Break a leg.
Okay. I want to welcome back all our returning students and staff, and welcome any new families to the district. I still remember what it was like taking my daughter to kindergarten for the first time. It'll be okay. But I also wanted, I don't think we can leave this meeting without noting that this is Mr. Lionetti's. You have two more? Oh, you have one more. Okay, never mind then.
Thank you very much.
Well, now you'll have to listen to it again. Okay. I was very excited by the energy in the presentation today, and hope that that's a harbinger of the year to come. We've got a lot of exciting business to get through as a board, and look forward to supporting our teachers and staff and students all year long. So with that, have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.